Border Patrol agents say they have arrested an MS-13 gang member. He illegally crossed the border near Calexico in California. The Honduran gang member claims to have traveled through Mexico with the Migrant Caravan. Meanwhile, in Tijuana, the mayor of that Mexican border town says he has only enough resources to assist the thousands of migrants from Central America camped in and near his city for just a few more days before the city's treasurer goes broke. The city treasurer, by the way, claiming they've been spending about $30,000 a day because of the caravan arrivals. They're looking to the federal government of Mexico for help. It sounds a lot like America, doesn't it? Joining me now to take up the caravan crisis at the border, the president's threats to shut down the government if Congress fails to pay for his border wall, Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona, member of the House Judiciary Committee, the House Freedom Caucus. And Congressman, always good to talk with you. Let's start with this mess on the border. Do you think the president has successfully illustrated to the Mexican government and incoming President Manuel Lopez Obrador that this is Mexico's problem before it's ours?
I think he's done a great job trying to communicate that. Talking about shutting down the border is important. I think this bully pulpit that the president has exercised really is setting the tone. And at some point, I mean, we thought there was a deal last weekend, right, that Mexico was actually going to keep these folks. And it looks to me like they're trying to keep them, but they're not closing down their southern border yet. And they need to do that.
Yeah, they need to do that. They need also to secure their northern border. This is part of their, you know, I was one of those people who was hopeful that Lopez Obrador would be a partner for this president and act like a mature, like Mexico deserved a mature and responsible leader, not another leftist, corrupt, politician. It looks like he has chosen the latter course, and that's a shame.
Well, I'm hopeful that things will get straightened out, because they have to get straightened out. Because if you look at Tijuana and what the mayor has said,
Congressman, they've had to get things straightened out since 1986, 32 years ago. And all they've done is exacerbate a horrible situation, an inhumane situation. The Mexican government hasn't given a rip about the people that it has urged economically and sociologically north to the United States. The same is true of the Central America. We have, and by the way, you talked about the president setting the right tone here. I mean, the great thing about him is he is a man of action, as he promised he would be. He's doing something everybody around him was clucking about his decision to put troops. I mean, in my opinion, he should have fired every person who objected to securing the border, because those people have got an agenda that is not in the national interest, is not in the interest of the American people. I would clean them up so fast their heads would spin.
Well, I agree with you, Lou. I mean, this is a long-standing problem, obviously, with Mexico. And look, you had a president when Vicente Fox. They were providing, yeah, they were providing brochures and pamphlets and maps on how to get up here, and
Vicente Fox is the biggest blowhard who did nothing but urge the poorest and the least educated of his society north of the border, and then had the temerity, to the gall, to lecture American citizens on their responsibility to Mexican nationals living in our country illegally. And he was put up with by the Bush administration, encouraged, and everything but given a big hug for being such a complete and utter blank. Yes. I can't even believe it. And Lopez Obrador wants to go down that same path. His people deserve better. He's a populist. He should be focused on the welfare of those people and their treatment by their government, because it has been a sordid and sorry story. Let me turn to this wall. We're hearing that it's a Democrat's fault. Here, with 5 weeks to go, the House of Representatives, led by that august conservative, that stalwart Republican, Paul Ryan, who decimated your party at the polls. We are also led in the Senate by Mitch McConnell. And the President of the United States wants a $25 billion wall built. He promised the American people. Suddenly he's talking about it's the Democrats' fault, and it's $5 billion he wants, not $25 billion. You people could screw up a vacant lot. You are absolutely, I mean, it's disgusting what is happening now in Washington.
Right, yeah, we can't make a grilled cheese sandwich, right? I mean, the reality is there are bills out there right now. There are methods like you could use the reconciliation
May I
method.
interrupt
You can do this.
Congressman?
Yeah.
I'm resorting to no adjectives and no name calling.
Yes, sir.
Speaker Ryan isn't worth a tinker's damn. He's not a leader. He has no character. He has no principle, or otherwise he would be supporting this president and acting in the national interest, not the interest of K Street, Wall Street, and the whole bunch. Koch brothers, the Business Roundtable. I mean, it's disgusting. Are you guys going to be able to get $25 billion in the president's hands without any strings? I love the idea of Congress with its strings. Paul Ryan and these fools he serves. The American people should, I mean, it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
Are you going to get it done?
You want my
Yes, I will shut up
opinion?
and you can give us the answer.
You want my honest opinion? My honest opinion is we're not going to get it done. We're not going to get the $25 billion. We're not going to get my bill through. Look, you could use Kevin McCarthy's bill. There are so many ways to get this done. You could do it through reconciliation.
Why $5 billion? Why not $25 billion?
It should be $25 billion.
Because $5 billion means it's a 10-year project. I mean, idiots could figure that out. And by the way, you've got so many of them in both parties on Capitol Hill. It's astonishing.
Yeah, well, look, we should be doing $25 billion. We should have done it 6 months ago. We should have done it a year ago. We should have done it 18 months ago. We've got 5 weeks left.
Why didn't you guys
left.
Why didn't you get Paul Ryan out before he could destroy the party? Why did you let him sit there? I'm just curious.
Well, look at where the votes are, Lou. It's always about votes. And where are the votes? And I'm one vote, you know. And
no, I know that.
The bottom line is, this is the direction that it went. And so I'm trying to make the best of a bad situation.
No,
and
I understand.
Continually
you're a good
urge
man, and you are a principled congressman, and that makes you definitely in the minority, irrespective of the party that's in charge.
Yeah, it's driving me crazy. Drive me crazy, Lou.
Well, it's driving us all crazy. You can imagine what the president's thinking in the damn fools who are sitting there pushing him to take a $5 billion installment on a 10-year project. Yeah. This is pretty sad. What is the quality of the people around this president? They're appalling. Yeah. As you know. Congressman Andy Biggs, thanks for putting up with all you put up with there on Capitol Hill and occasionally on this broadcast from time to time. I look forward to your next visit. Thanks.
It's always good to be with you. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Hazleton, Pennsylvania is home to 25,000 people. Once a majority white mining town, inter-ethnic resentment is on the rise. Over the course of just 15 years, Hispanics have become the majority ethnic group here, up from 5% to 52% of the town's population. Bob and Tom were born and raised in Hazleton. They say they no longer recognize the streets they grew up in.
It's just not our town. No. We don't know anybody. We don't know anybody in these stores. We don't know who they are.
They're particularly perturbed by how much Spanish they hear and see.
Somebody mentioned that they wanted to change the name of Wyoming Street.
That was surprising.
Yeah.
In what?
To some Spanish name.
We used to joke about being a minority in this little town. It's no joke anymore.
There is still one place that feels like home for some white residents, the Hazleton Museum. Bob and his mum are nostalgic for an America of diners and European, that is to say white, immigration. Joan believes Italians and Poles wanted to assimilate, unlike Latinos.
They go to their own grocery stores. They go to their own churches.
Yep.
They don't go to the white place.
Yep.
In the 1970s, the town's coal mines gradually closed. Many left to find jobs elsewhere. As the economy got back on track after the 2008 financial crisis, industry returned to Hazleton, and in turn, demand for cheap labor. Latinos embraced the opportunity. In Hazleton, the vast majority of Hispanic immigrants are in work, despite some who say migrants are in the US to play the system.
the percentage of the workforce is about 75 to 80% Latino.
Francisco Torres is half Irish, half Mexican. He takes us to meet Leticia Gutierrez, one of the first Hispanics to arrive in Hazleton 28 years ago.
We also pay our taxes, and that means we're supporting Americans who aren't working.
The US government predicts that by 2044, in less than 30 years' time, the majority of Americans will be non-white. The demographics of towns and cities across the US are changing. The case of Hazleton may soon become the norm.
Why the left is missing the common sense, the obvious, or the truth in favor of what I call Trump derangement syndrome here. I don't think President Trump has handled this poorly. We can't let migrants storm through our border, or if we don't have a border, we don't have a nation. That at one point to both parties, that was obvious. I'm not sure what Democrats would have had him do. I mean, do they think that he should have just let these people across the border?
You know, as a veteran, I was initially skeptical when he deployed the troops to the border because I wasn't really sure what their use was going to be. And there was so much false news coming out about what, you know, I even heard that they were 90 miles away from the border, just sitting there in tents. That's not true. They were installing concertina wire at the border, which is actually a great use of the troops. So as a veteran, I say, hey, if we don't have a wall over those 2,000 miles of border, that's a great use of our troops and of existing resources. I wish that more people from the left, specifically veterans, would come out in favor of common sense truth. And my hunch is that so much of this is coming from the left media, and that these people, let's say liberals, are just listening as like sycophants to, I really hate to call them out by name, but you know who I'm talking about. And that's where they're getting their talking points. And I think some of these politicians are doing the exact same thing. And it's just a false narrative that plays on emotions. And the reason they do it is for money. They're making money by getting these ratings over these emotionally wrenching stories that don't tell the exact truth.
Can we please put this man in charge of the Democratic Party? Dear God, our country would be a lot better off.
As these migrants clash with U.S. troops at the border, a local family here is continuing to fight to stay in the United States. And Brightside's Emerald Morrow is live at the ICE office in Tampa. Emerald, this is a tough time for this family who's been here in the U.S. for 25 years.
Yeah, Rob, this family is having a very, very tough time, especially after learning from ICE officials here yesterday that they may have to leave the country by January. And again, that's after, like you said, living here for 25 years, building a life and raising a family. Now, Miguel Torres Bruno and Martha Garcia, they took this photo some years ago with their son, not long after arriving to the U.S. legally, seeking asylum from Peru and Argentina. And fast forward to today, and they're desperately trying to stay in Polk County where they have built their life. Now, they say they've never been in trouble. They check in with ICE officials regularly, and they came here for the American dream, but 25 years later, they still do not have citizenship. So it's a dream that could soon turn into a nightmare for them, as they've been told to buy a plane ticket by January 2nd.
We are legal, but no status. No status, no resident, no citizens. But we are legal in this country.
We love USA. We come for the American dream, and we pay the price.
And that price could mean heading back to a country where they have no family, no job, or any housing prospects. Absolutely nothing.
We are a good people, and we can prove that one. It's a fact.
Our family lives here in this. Our family lives here in this country. Everybody is citizen. We have 14 people in my family. We don't have nobody in Peru. We don't have house in Peru. We don't have family. We don't have job. We don't have nothing.
Now, the couple says they also both have medical issues, and sending them back to South America could be a death sentence for them both. Now, meantime, the president says he is willing to risk a government shutdown to get funding for the border wall. Back to you.
Ya empezaron a pegarle a la gente y eso no se hace. Peor los niños son los que más valen en todos los países.
Todos sabemos que Donald Trump no nos ve como seres humanos, nos ve como animales y obviamente eso es como nos va a tratar.